Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm excited to have you here today. We're about to explore a fascinating topic, the unseen foundation, understanding relationship compatibility. When we think about relationships, most of us picture romance, commitment, and that idea of a soulmate. But today, I want to show you that compatibility goes much deeper. It's actually the foundation that decides whether love can truly thrive over the long term. Over the course of this presentation, we'll look at what makes couples compatible, why it matters, and how understanding this can transform your relationships. So let's get started. Beyond romance, it's important to understand what true compatibility really means. While no relationship is ever perfect, there are certain signs that can indicate two people might not be the best match for each other. Recognizing these signs early on is crucial because it can help prevent unnecessary pain and heartache down the line. When we catch these mismatches early, it gives both partners the chance to seek out healthier, more fulfilling connections that align better with who they are. At the core of all healthy relationships is a solid foundation, compatibility. It's like the bedrock on which lasting love is built. Without that, even the most passionate relationships can struggle to survive over time. Compatibility fuels a relationship's ability to grow and flourish, allowing love to deepen and evolve naturally. And that's why early recognition is so vital. When we identify incompatibilities early, it helps us avoid unnecessary struggles and emotional pain later on. It's about being mindful and proactive so we can foster relationships that truly support our happiness and well-being in the long run. Why early recognition really matters is because understanding those subtle cues of incompatibility can be a game changer for personal growth and maintaining healthy relationships. It's all about becoming more self-aware and making smarter, more informed choices that lead to a more fulfilling future. When we talk about identifying disconnects, what we mean is pinpointing those specific areas where fundamental differences cause friction. Recognizing these early can save us a lot of pain down the line. Fostering honesty is also crucial. It encourages open dialogue about needs and expectations. When we're honest with ourselves and others, we create a foundation of trust and clarity. Moving on to seeking alignment, this is about really determining whether core values and life goals can genuinely come together. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, they just don't match, and that's okay. Finally, building healthier bonds means shifting toward connections that truly support mutual well-being. When we recognize incompatibilities early, we can focus on relationships that are more supportive and fulfilling, ultimately leading to healthier, more authentic connections. All these steps tie back to the overall theme of making conscious choices about who we invest our time and energy in for a better, more balanced life. So, on this slide, we're talking about the first major sign that a relationship might be struggling to understand each other. At the core of any healthy relationship is communication, but not just about exchanging words. It's also about tone, emotion, and those unspoken signals that often go beyond what's actually said. When you find yourselves consistently misinterpreting each other's intentions or missing each other's needs, that's when problems start to surface. This isn't just about the occasional mix-up. It's about a deeper disconnect where empathy and attunement are missing. Over time, these repeated misunderstandings can breed frustration, resentment, and create emotional distance between partners. We call this chronic misunderstandings, a persistent inability to truly grasp what the other person means or feels. And this leads to an emotional disconnect, where empathy is lacking, and you just feel distant from each other. Now, why does this matter so much? Well, long-term compatibility really depends on emotional resonance, being able to get each other without needing constant explanations. Without that, even small issues can escalate into big conflicts, making it harder to maintain a healthy connection over time. So, understanding each other deeply is crucial for a strong, lasting relationship. Let's talk about sign 2, divergent core values. It's true that opposites can attract, but when it comes to maintaining a healthy, long-lasting relationship, shared values are much more important than just having new or different interests. You don't need to have identical hobbies or passions, but having common ground in principles, lifestyle, and long-term vision really makes a difference. For example, imagine one partner values financial stability deeply, while the other is more into adventure and risk-taking. That difference can lead to conflict if not addressed or understood. On the other hand, shared humor, a similar outlook on life, or cultural values, those are like the glue that helps couples get through tough times. Now, what do we mean by shared principles? These are the fundamental beliefs that guide how we make choices every day. And aligned vision is about having a shared direction for the future, whether that's your goals, your lifestyle, or your core values. So why does this matter? Well, compatibility isn't about being the same, but about being aligned in what truly defines you, your beliefs, your goals, and your worldview. That alignment creates a strong foundation that can withstand challenges and help your relationship thrive. Let's talk about sign 3, the peril of trying to change each other. Healthy relationships really support personal growth, but they shouldn't pressure us to change against our will. When one or both partners feel pushed to alter their appearance, behavior, or lifestyle, resentment can start to build. Authentic love, on the other hand, means you can be your true self without fear of judgment. Remember, real change is only sustainable when it's motivated from within, not forced by someone else's expectations. Why does this matter? Because if you don't feel safe being yourself, the relationship starts to feel like a performance, not a genuine connection. So, fostering an environment where authenticity is valued is key to a healthy, lasting partnership. Let's talk about signs 4 and 5 that indicate unhealthy conflict patterns in relationships. Sign 4 is constant and destructive arguments. Disagreements are completely normal and can even be helpful if they lead to better understanding. But when those disagreements become endless, even over small issues, that's when things turn toxic. Destructive conflicts often involve yelling, name-calling, guilt-tripping, or holding grudges. Instead of working through the problem, these arguments turn into battles where both people end up feeling worse, diminished, and disconnected. Why does this matter? Because a healthy relationship should bring out your best self, not your ugliest impulses. When negativity takes over, it erodes trust and intimacy, making it harder to connect meaningfully. Now, moving to sign 5, problems that are avoided, not addressed. This is basically the opposite of constant fighting, but it's just as problematic. Some couples pretend everything's fine or suppress issues just to keep the peace. But that avoidance sets the stage for much bigger explosions down the line. True intimacy requires honesty, even when it's uncomfortable. When we avoid conflict, we create emotional distance. On the other hand, constructive conflict, addressing issues openly, builds resilience and strengthens the relationship. And why is that important? Because a relationship without open dialogue lacks depth. Suppressing problems might feel easier temporarily, but it sacrifices long-term stability and trust. So, in essence, healthy relationships are about finding that balance, addressing conflicts constructively and communicating honestly, even when it feels difficult. Let's talk about sign 6, isolated worlds, shallow bonds. In a healthy partnership, both people naturally start to integrate into each other's social circles. That means meeting friends, family, and getting involved with each other's communities. It's a sign of a growing, connected relationship. But if your relationship exists in a bubble, disconnected from those loved ones, that can be a red flag indicating incompatibility. When a couple is isolated like that, it limits personal growth and even the growth of the relationship itself. Without external perspectives or validation, it's harder to see issues clearly or gain support when needed. And a relationship without wider networks can stay shallow and fragile. Without those external connections, the bond might not be as resilient or deep. So why does this matter? Because relationships aren't just between two people, they're part of a larger ecosystem. When you're cut off from that, the relationship can remain superficial or even fragile over time. It's an important reminder that healthy relationships thrive when they're connected to the wider world. Now, let's talk about sign 7, the missing spark, lack of attraction. Even if two people seem perfect on paper, Without that essential physical and romantic chemistry, the relationship just can't truly thrive as a romantic partnership. You might feel deep affection and companionship, but if passion is missing, it starts to resemble more of a friendship than a romance. Think about the three key components of love according to Robert Sternberg's triarchic theory. The first is passion, which is all about physical and romantic desire. The second is intimacy, or emotional closeness and connection. And third is commitment, the decision to stay together. Without that spark or attraction, without passion, partners often find themselves drifting toward others who fulfill that missing element. It's important because love without desire can feel incomplete over time. That can lead to dissatisfaction or even emotional betrayal, which can seriously undermine the relationship. So, maintaining that attraction is crucial for a lasting romantic connection. Without it, even the strongest bond can start to fade. Navigating compatibility is really about understanding the difference between everyday challenges and deeper issues that can threaten a relationship. No relationship is perfect, and that's completely normal. Small disagreements, like differing tastes or minor conflicts, are manageable and often part of building understanding. But when there are fundamental issues, such as mismatched core values, ongoing conflicts, or a lack of attraction, that's when things become more serious. Compatibility doesn't promise a flawless relationship, but it helps create a foundation where love can truly flourish. It's about cultivating patience, putting in effort, and giving it time. If you find yourself noticing several signs we discussed today, like persistent disagreements, feeling disconnected, or incompatible goals, it's worth taking a moment to reflect honestly. Ask yourself, is this the right person for me? Recognizing these signs can be a vital step toward understanding whether your relationship has the potential to grow, or if it might be time to reconsider.